You can't do that. You can't go to the range with a group of people and work on drills for your target acquisition, shot placement, all that stuff. Can't do it. The opposing side for, non-abortion or anti-abortion people um, can't sit there and counter-protest, even peacefully.
Oh, did I forget to tell you the story of a time I threw a stack of quarters at a stripper's ass? So, okay, here for you guys that don't know, there was a 15-year-old illegal immigrant kid that shot at people at Times Square and even law enforcement. You know what's adorable? I think I have a little story for you. A little funny story. You take Gabby to bed, especially like 9 or 9:30, right?
Well, on the weekend she goes to bed at 9, 8:30
Well, yeah.
during the weekday for school.
You take her to bed around that time. I remember when I was a little kid that my parents would used to force whiskey down my gullet a little bit, especially around the gums, and then say, "I'm about to go to sleep." I'm like, "I don't feel so good," and then my parents would be like, "Good night,
Basically,
my
just
sweet little
admitted that your parents
alcoholic."
abused the shit out of you when you were a kid. Now you're an alcoholic.
Hmm.
Why do you have so many bottles of whiskey in your trash? Flashbacks.
How's your childhood? Pours more whiskey.
Tell me your childhood was traumatic without telling me your childhood was traumatic. Just fucking down a bottle of whiskey. I feel like that's what you would do. Not you, but like in that kind of question,
Mhm.
just fucking chug it. How was your
and,
childhood? Just
and hit the intro. That would suck. Hey guys, Matt here, telling y'all to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell to get notified each time that we're on. Oh, I say I love y'all so much. Enjoy the show.
I didn't even get that far.
Welcome to the Article 1776 podcast. I am Matt. This is
Scottsdale 87. I mean, if you don't already know that, then
yeah.
we've
I mean,
pissed enough people off by now. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure they know.
Yeah. So, welcome to the shit show. God damn it. So,
Welcome to the dumpster fire.
we have quite a few. We're going to hit right into it today. So, we have quite a few interesting topics. One such as what Scottsdale have prepared that affects YouTubers and civilians alike.
Yeah. So, well, let's make this known very clear right now. Our constitutional rights are rights that are obviously endowed to us by whatever creator we impose.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. These are more rights that every person of every country should have. Obviously, they don't. There's a lot that don't. Um, One of those is obviously your right to free speech.
Mm-hmm.
The caveat to that would be your right to bear arms.
Mm-hmm.
No one should be infringing on either of those. Those are God given. Those are unalienable. Like you can't not have those. Like you should have those because you have the right to speak for yourself and defend yourself as you see fit.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, there is a bill that has been introduced to Congress is it? Unfortunately, lately there has been a bill that has been introduced into Congress that would basically stop you from being able to be a well trained and organized militia. Now, let's understand what that means first. It doesn't mean like people out there all gung ho in full kit ready to go out and cause havoc. That's not what the intent of a militia is. There are contracting groups like Wagner. Obviously, that's not a militia. That's a contracting group.
Here's what I think is that the private military is separate, something separate from where you and I, we have our own HOA to where us dads would be able to protect our own properties and our neighbor's property with said pew-pews and not going out causing out doing shit, you know.
Yeah, obviously I can't just go out blasting people. That's not my intent.
Calm down.
Anyway, just try to do the if you could do that, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So this bill that I'm getting ready to go over with you guys, you have the right to stay well regulated and well trained. As a civilian, it's your civic duty.
Mm-hmm.
That if for any reason they can't, we should be able to. And we should have that knowledge. Bill S-385 would actually end that. This is also known as the Prohibit to Unauthorized Private Paramilitary Activity Act. Unauthorized Private Paramilitary Activity. Obviously, they have their own definitions that they give here. We all know what ammunition is. We know what armed forces are. We know what dangerous weapons are. We know what explosives are. We know what firearms. We're not fucking stupid, guys. We know.
Mm-hmm.
We know what large capacity ammunition feeding device means. 10 rounds of it. More than 10 rounds. What are you going to do? Anyway, that's not the point. The meat and potatoes of this bill, as you would make it an offense to unlawfully or it would be unlawful to knowingly in a circumstance described in subsection B while acting as part of or on behalf of a private paramilitary organization and armed with a firearm, explosive, or incendiary device or other dangerous weapon. Now, there has been a surge in companies lately that offer civilian training at a law enforcement to somewhat quasi-military capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly it's defensive, operational techniques for your weapons, and some basic self-first aid. Maybe some advanced first aid depending on what kind of level of training you take it upon yourself to do. But it would make it illegal to publicly patrol, drill, or engage in techniques capable of causing bodily injury or of death. So if you even took Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with a group of people, it could be looked at as private paramilitary activity. You wouldn't be able to train. You wouldn't be able to do drills. And what I mean by training, training is more drilling, constant betterment of yourself and abilities, as opposed to just working out. Mm-hmm. Working out is working out. Training is drilling, just basically just getting better, pushing your limits constantly. Basically, the highest level of performance always. You can't do that. You can't go to the range with a group of people and work on drills for your target acquisition, shot placement, all that stuff. Can't do it. Mm-mm. 2, to interfere with, interrupt, or attempt to interfere with or interrupt government operations or a government proceeding. So even if the government is doing something you don't like, you can't stop it. 3, interfere with or intimidate another person in that person's exercise of any right under the Constitution of the United States. Obviously, free speech exists. Mm-hmm. Everybody has that right. You have pro-abortionists protesting their right to have abortions. If this bill is passed, the opposing side for, non-abortions or anti-abortion people can't sit there and counter protest, even peacefully, because this would prohibit that. The fourth one is really strange. To assume the functions of a law enforcement officer, peace officer, or public official, whether or not acting under the code of or color of law, and thereby assert authority or purport to assert authority over another person without the consent of that person. 5 kind of rolls into it, or to train in to engage in any activity described in paragraphs 1 through 4. So if somebody breaks into your house, you can't aim your pistol at them and say, "Hey, stop, don't move, hands up." Because that could be seen as you're asserting dominance or authority over somebody, regardless of your capacity of law enforcement or not. It could be seen as unauthorized private paramilitary activity.
Looking at you, Demolition Ranch. I'm just kidding.
This would make it impossible for companies that train civilians to exist. It would make it impossible for the everyday citizen to obtain this information. This doesn't just affect me and Warhammer here. It doesn't affect just Demolition Ranch. It doesn't affect Dona or Brandon Herrera or any of those guys. It affects everybody who is a resident of the United States. Your Constitution is being challenged with this. Your First and Second Amendments are being challenged with this. Even if you don't believe in firearms, even if you were anti-gun, but you still want training in combat first aid, or some type of traumatic first aid, it would make it illegal for you to do so.
Well, it looks like we're fucked if this bill's passed. Well, I'm fucked.
I mean,
I got med kits and everything.
I mean, look, I have an IFAC. I have a plate carrier. I have all that stuff. But you know what? My stuff, I don't use my equipment in an aggressive manner. My equipment is used specifically in a defensive purpose. However, I do train with my equipment to know what to do when I need it. That way it's not just sitting there collecting dust.
But I have a question. Do you think that, and this might be a loophole, do you think that we would get in trouble, say, like if we had an IFAC or a med kit in our car, just in case if someone gets into a car accident? And
no, I don't think so, because I have a first aid kit in my truck.
That's what we do. I have a tourniquet in my glove compartment in case.
I mean, so in the back seat of my truck, I have the actual seat itself has a little trap door that you can open. I think I showed you that. So that orange box that was in the one behind my seat, nobody really sits in that seat. So Gabby sits, opposite of me on the other side. So that seat's basically always open. Something happens, I can jump out of my seat, run around to the back seat, pop open the seat, and pull out my med kit. It's not a medical kit of any capacity is not really seen as a private paramilitary activity. But if you as a civilian are spending your time and money and I'm sure documenting it and putting it out there, yeah, you're going to have people look into you.
Yeah, especially I don't know why that question arose in my mind. I was like, if you bring do you
know what this means?
Yeah.
That they're afraid.
Yeah.
The government is afraid of we the people.
As they should be afraid.
I mean, they should. Well, I mean, look, it is the battles of Concord and Lexington. A little history note. Concord and Lexington were the depots in which the colonists had their weapons. Okay. Now, the British knew that a well-organized colony A well-armed and well-organized colony could mean trouble for the British, and that's why the British are coming, the British are coming. That whole fucking spiel exists because they had a system in place. Because even the colonists knew
Uh-huh.
that a well-regulated and well-armed militia was necessary to the security of a free state.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to be in the military to protect your home and country.
Exactly.
That's why it's we the people, not them the government. They want to use this to strip you to this is like the first boiling point to strip you of your rights. So you have to rely on the system. They want you fat, they want you lazy, they want you dumb and stupid so they can control what you do when you do it. Look, 3% tax in tea was enough to set off a revolution.
Uh-huh.
You are taxed over 70% of what you make every day. You are groped in the airport. You are surveilled on the street. You are even spied on in the privacy of your own home. They are afraid of us for a reason.
Scottsdale gropes me for free. I have a serious question for you, though, and this is where real minds think. Did you know that? Did you know that Lewis and Clark had a secret meeting with President Thomas Jefferson?
You know, it wouldn't fucking surprise me. This de facto government is so shady, it wouldn't fucking surprise me.
It is a no one knows. The event was documented that President Jefferson met up with Lewis and Clark, but no one knows what the meeting was all about.
Probably, you know what? There, there's a little bit of history in
Mm-hmm.
this movie, National Treasure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, um, the president's book.
I remember
It
that.
it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is a real thing. Um, Obviously, civilian eyes have never seen it
Mm-hmm.
because it's always in the desk of the president.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the president's book. Um, so obviously the same iteration that it was in the movie is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's probably the only thing that would have anything about that meeting.
And because people are still wondering to this day, especially historians of the United States, people are still wondering because no one drew up any clue or whatsoever.
I want to know who hired John Wilkes Booth.
Who's that? I forgot. I completely forgot.
Motherfucker? Six Semper Tyrannis?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Thus
No.
always the tyrants? The man who shot Abraham Lincoln in the back of the head?
Yeah.
The man who made who coined the term Abe Lincolning somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that guy.
Do you
I want to
see?
know who hired him.
Do you see Brandon Herrera's little scientific thing about
Oh
reenacting?
yeah. Oh yeah. Of course I did. Of course I did.
Vote for Brandon Herrera. Awesome dude. But
District 23, Texas.
mhm. So the next subject is like people are speaking about fucky wucky governments. The one that I sent you for they're finally talking about military pay and service and helping out with service members, and so then that way shit doesn't get all fucky wucky. This is something from military.com, and as you see it right there, it starts off: reforming military pay and benefits, improving housing conditions are the top two quality of life issues for service members that lawmakers should address immediately. The senior enlisted leaders of all the military services told Congress on Wednesday. A couple of these are a couple of these problems are so big that if we don't start taking immediate action on them now, we're going to miss the curve in the future, says Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy James Honea said on Wednesday at the House hearing.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that has actually been something that I've known about since even before I even tried to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, base housing has always been a touchy subject.
Mm-hmm.
More so barracks.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard a lot of fucked up shit about barracks stateside, and I heard a lot of shit about fucked up barracks overseas.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the barracks overseas were done by contractors, like third party contractors. They weren't even built by the military. Okay.
No.
It wasn't like the Army Corps of Engineers went in. It wasn't like, the Marine Corps engineers went in and built these fucking barracks.
Mm-hmm.
It was third party contractors that the government shipped in from all over the world. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there was problems with a lot of grounding, like a lot of electrical grounding. And I do know of a few stories where soldiers were taking showers
Mm-hmm.
and got fucking electrocuted and, died.
There's.
I've seen videos of asbestos falling off the fucking ceilings and
Mm-hmm.
shit. Like, we don't take good care of our boys and girls. Don't worry, sorry, and everything
In between.
else.
Whatever. Yeah. So, do you know how many stories that I could tell you about how many times I've been in barracks that were blacklisted because they were currently working on mold, getting rid of mold inside of there?
Yeah, black mold was a big thing I heard about too.
And there's been several times to where brown water would come out the sink or faucet in our showers. So we'd have to shower at the gym.
Yep.
And one more thing. I think Angry Cops brought this back up. There was a there's a housing company that worked with the military, the U.S. Army, where I forgot what base it was, but they were working with 7 different bases. And they stole millions and millions of dollars from the military because you know what they would do? If someone from a house, base housing, reported an issue, say like with your sink, and it needed to be repaired, they would contact this company, and then this company would show up late and then have it on docket as it was already fixed.
Huh.
When
Yeah.
it
I
when
mean,
it wasn't fixed at all.
it's just so yeah. That and military pay has always been problems that have been circulating.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is possibly a reason, or maybe a reason for dwindling recruiting numbers. You're asking young men and women to put their lives on the line for shit they may not agree with. I think fair compensation for what our servicemen and women are doing is 100% an agreeable factor.
And I'll say this, when you are E1 through say like E2 or 3, you're going to be approximately making $25,000 a year. That's before taxes. A little kid that's probably like 17, 18 years old is like, oh, that's a lot of money. No, that's not a lot of money at all.
It can be if you do it right, but you got to think about it. You got to take advantage of what's on base. You got to take advantage of having. Okay, think about it. You get base housing, not base housing, but if you're single,
Mm-hmm.
young, single, doesn't matter what race or sex, whatever.
Yeah.
You have barracks housing. Okay, you have massive discounts at the PX.
Mm-hmm.
You've got massive discounts at the different chow halls.
Mm-hmm.
There was a burger place that was on base at Cherry Point,
Mm-hmm.
like Andy's or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And the meals were half off what they would be at regular price, and they had them, outside of base as well. And I would pay full price.
Mm-hmm.
If I went on base, pay half price.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, everything is there on base. Okay? You're going to meet people who are stupid enough to buy a car
At 14% interest rate.
or higher.
I've known several
D6 Mustang at 23% interest.
I knew a junior Marine that bought a 2001 or 2003 Ford Explorer for $7,000 at 14% interest rate.
Yeah, no,
So
it's crazy. But you're going to meet people who are stupid enough that have a car on base.
yeah,
Befriend those people.
mm-hmm.
Help out with gas money, obviously, but you're still going to save money. You say you're there for 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you're not stupid enough to get married while you're in the military. Because that's a big thing. Don't be dumb. Don't get married in the military. Dependopotamuses are out there. They exist.
After your first deployment is when you should be able to get married.
I mean, I still wouldn't.
If you have a girlfriend during your deployment and she
shit
is,
happens.
yeah,
Shit happens. It's just better off not to.
it's better off if you're wanting
Watch
to
out
say
for Jody.
if you're wanting to say like she's the one, wait until after your first deployment.
You'll find out real quick.
Yeah.
The point is you have the ability to bank a little bit of money, especially if you're only doing it for 4 years. If you plan on doing it for longer, you're good. Like, but I do agree that our armed services pay needs to be a bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, fucking hey, you got strip clubs right across the street from the base. You know,
I know plenty of people who save hundreds of dollars by not going to strip clubs.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then not marrying strippers.
And you know how much? Yeah,
Matt.
Yeah. Oh, I forget. Did I forget to tell you the story of a time I threw a stack of quarters at a stripper's ass?
Okay, now I didn't hear that properly. I want to say you said that you stuck a stack of quarters in a stripper's ass. However, I think you might have said that you put a stack of quarters on a stripper's ass. You threw a stack of quarters on the strip. You made it hail.
Yeah.
You didn't make it rain. You made it hail.
And then me being too drunk enough to realize what I did, it didn't happen until like 30 seconds afterwards. Oh, shit. That shit.
Was it in the paper roll still?
Yeah.
You threw the whole... You tried to knock the stripper out.
Bitch.
You didn't make it hail. You dropped a fucking fastball on her head.
Curveball. It was actually on. Well, to be clear, it was her ass, not her head.
Okay, so she basically just had a golf ball sized bruise on her ass cheek the next day, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
But it got a laugh or two. So, next subject as well. This piece of shit.
Off the bow.
This piece of shit, illegal immigrant, 15-year-old kid.
Punk ass bitch.
So, okay, here, for you guys that don't know, there was a 15-year-old illegal immigrant kid that shot at people at Times Square and even law enforcement. Put clip here.
I just put my report. You know what I mean? Video. Show me later. I'm on video.
So
yeah, so Times Square, stole something, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Cops got involved. He shot at cops in the middle of a crowded area in Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up shooting a tourist, and then ran away because that's what you do when you're a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's be clear: 15-year-old Venezuelan immigrant should have not been here.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck did he get a gun? Did he take the gun all the way from Venezuela with him?
Mm-hmm.
So that means he made it over the border with said pistol and traveled to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is not too far from where I live. Well,
I don't think that he traveled. I think he might have bought it at New York because here's the thing: I think his mother was heard crying in the background.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, but like, that's the question: did he already have it? Did he get it here in New York?
Yeah.
How did he get it in New York?
Yeah,
They're supposed to be. I'm pretty sure. New York doesn't just give out guns to. Oh, yes, they fucking do.
mm-hmm.
That's right.
Gang members.
They do.
Yep.
They do, and they give them to teenagers too.
Yep.
Oh yeah, they give them to teenage immigrants who shouldn't be here. Oh
Yeah.
shit, New York sucks. Pretty city, shit people. Some of them, but well, a lot of them, not all of them.
If you're from New York and you're cool with us, then you're cool.
I mean, I have friends who are from New York. My sister lives in New York, not New York City, that was bad,
Yeah.
like upstate New York.
Is she kind of like you and us?
Well, you met her.
Yeah.
She was at the wedding.
Yeah.
But this is exactly what people are worried about. When people talk about like this immigration crisis and the people who are coming over, it's not so much as just trying to like racially profile people, but like shit's different over there.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've got cartel members, they've got fucking people up. There's people out there who don't abide by the laws like we do out here.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, I think that's kind of like one of the definitions of civilization. You know, acting civilized.
Mm-hmm.
That's not civilized.
I have a question for you.
It's not acting civilly to your other citizens.
I know that quite a few people from Texas have people that are from Mexico, like over here down in Florida. We get, of course, you know, there's a lot of Cubans, like Miami and all that stuff.
Puerto Ricans up in New York.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, actually, that's Dover.
Mm-hmm.
Is a town that's not too far from me. It has a very large I want to say Latin, but I mean I might be wrong. I can't say Hispanic because that might be wrong too. I can't say Mexican because that might be wrong too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just that town is like that. That's just what I'm all gonna say. That's all I can say because I don't want to be like I'm not trying to be insensitive.
Yeah.
But that's a big that is a big population up here. Yeah, definitely.
And you know what's funny? I took an Uber ride sometime during this week, and the dude was from Guatemala, I think so. I think he was from Guatemala, but he came legally, and he said, Trump 2024.
I mean, look.
Because he said it to me this way. He came here legally. The people that come in here illegally are making him look bad.
You know, that is a valid argument. I've heard that.
Yeah.
I sent you a clip earlier of the rap artist Pitbull.
Yeah.
Okay. He was like, to everybody who doesn't like America, God bless you, but fuck you at the same time. Anybody who doesn't like America, go to the fucking countries that we came from.
So whoever the fuck doesn't like the United States of America, may God bless you, but fuck you at the same time. If you don't like the United States of America, go back to the countries that we the fuck from, and you'll see how much you appreciate the United States of America.
I'll put the clip in here.
And then you'll see the difference and why America is great. Because these are the places, this is the place that somebody of any ethnic background can create something for themselves. Name me another country that you can do that. Look, okay, this was just, I did not watch the Super Bowl, okay? I don't fucking care about the Super Bowl. I don't care about Taylor Swift or whatever the fuck his name is in his. I did see his little glittery outfit that he wore as he walked in. Tell Taylor Swift's stylist to leave you alone, buddy. Like, you could have just wore jeans. You'd have been fine. You look dumb. I do too. So, like, real recognize real.
Your glasses are kind of crooked, by the way.
Yeah, that's because I got to get them fixed.
You
Gotta get that one arm fixed.
Yeah.
See, the glasses people problem. I don't look the best. I know that. Like I said, real recognize real. Like, you look real bad. I think the whole Taylor Swift thing. So the point is, the halftime show. Every artist that was on stage was black, and that's fine. Oh, fucking awesome, cool, great. I didn't watch it. Pretty cool. It was pretty sure it was cool. Whatever. I thought this was the most fucking oppressive country in the world. I thought this was the most racist fucking country in the world. What other country do you see that shit happening in? Because is it fucking happening in? Is it happening in Romania, Lithuania? Is it happening in Greece, Turkey, Hungary?
It's like the Cat Williams.
Is that even a fucking country anymore?
Like I don't know, but it's like the Cat Williams saying, "Show me where this is happening. I'll wait."
I mean, if the median gap is so fucking high, how is it a thing? There's another reason I didn't watch the national anthem, and I think we're gonna get spicy on it.
I didn't watch the whole entire game, so I don't know.
I don't watch sports ball like that anymore. The iteration of my team no longer exists. I tried afterwards, it just didn't work. So this whole, I'm not upset by it. I'm very confused by it. This Black National Anthem thing.
Hold on, I'm still pissed that they changed my favorite teams because people were offended.
Oh, the Redskins, yeah. Now they're trying to do it with the Chiefs too. Cancel culture strikes again. No, the confusion part I have is the Black National Anthem. I'm not hating on it. I'm confused as to why. Like, we are supposed to be a nation indivisible with liberty and justice for all. Like, I may not be a 100% Trump supporter. However, I do agree with the way of thinking is we should make America great again. We should be great. There's no reason that we can't be great. But we have to work together in order to be great. So if you're creating division, where are you creating pathways to partnership? There is one anthem. There is the United States national anthem because we are all residents of the same country. We shouldn't be separating ourselves.
It is so easy to put the label victim on you to where it's like, okay, you want that victim mentality, but you don't think you don't have to work for things instead of just putting a victim
I don't
label.
think it's so much that. I think it's this.
I do.
This overall.
I think that a lot of some people do tend to put a victim label on themselves instead of just realizing that this is the land of the free, home of the brave, and you have such a lot of people, especially Asians, come on over here and they prosper like a motherfucker over here, especially now because they work.
And that's the thing, you can.
They work their ass off for it because a lot of them become doctors, a lot of them become lawyers,
engineers. Like, you can do those things here, and like, I'm sure that there are other countries that you can do that in. But what other countries are doing the same GDP as America? Like, we import and export more than anything.
But some of our
most of our shit's not even domestic anymore.
Yeah, most of our imports are more taxed than what our exports are.
So, I'm I'm not really 100% left, right, libertarian. I'm constitutionalist. I believe our constitution can work. I've tried. I'm just a human fucking being who wants better for other fucking human beings. Stop worrying about gay, straight. Stop worrying about left, right, up, down, backwards, leftwards, sideways, purple, pink, green, this sex, that sex. Like, look, I mean, come on. Once people can start looking away from all that and start working on ways that we can work together instead of dividing each other, like we're not gonna make it as a country. The society is doomed to fail if we keep worrying about all this other shit.
I think
Like
it's
ridiculous and heartbreaking, man. Because like I want to own land and build shit and prosper, all the things that are promised to you, and we can't get that because everyone's so stuck up their own fucking ass.
I think that somewhere on Instagram or Twitter or something like that, where someone screenshotted a post where it said a certain Democrat was more worried about immigrants, taking care of immigrants, than what they were taking care of veterans and service members.
No, I mean that's absolutely true. You know, all these millions of dollars for immigrants and stuff, but we have homeless people here on the streets too, whether they be veteran or civilian. Like, we have our own fucking shit to worry about. We can send billions of dollars to Ukraine and Israel, but like we can't end homelessness here in America.
I think that I showed you a few articles where my boys from 1st Battalion, 2nd Marines, my own unit where I was, during the pandemic, they were given sandwiches with moldy bread and everything, moldy ass food from the chow hall. And instead of just...
Yeah.
Some of them had to order pizza because what they were given had mold on it.
Yeah, like we need to work with each other more instead of finding ways that we can blame each other for everybody else's problems. Like, look, I understand like the whole sourness with the slave trade, and I get it's a raw deal. Like, it was fucked. It was fucked. It's fucked from the beginning. Nobody should be in that position at all, ever. But I kind of need to bring up something that it irks me just a little bit.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, good.
Learn from the piece of history. Don't take the statues down. Just learn from history and how to be better from what you were yesterday and move it on to today. Yeah,
there's something that I can't remember the article or the video that brought it up. And I'm not negating its validity because I don't obviously have the proof to combat it. But there was somebody in the academic world said that the original pharaohs of Egypt were black. Now, if that is the case, cool, own that. I'm not gonna fucking, if it's true, I'm not gonna argue with you about it, because obviously if there's valid proof to show it, hey, fucking, I gotta believe it because there's proof. I can't negate proof. That being said, when you look at the pyramids and you think back to stories that you've heard from the Bible, where the Israels were enslaved by the pharaohs and built monuments and cities and stuff like that.
Did you say the Israels? Was it Israelis?
Well, the Israelis, the Jewish people, pretty much. So now, taking that into account, the Jewish population is light skinned to fair or olive, right? Well, like an olive, kind of tone. So now, if that's the case, and the pharaohs who enslaved the Jewish people were black, would that not mean that even while they were pharaohs, they owned slaves who were lighter skinned than they were? Isn't that basically the same thing, just a lot older? Now, I'm not trying to start controversy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will find the article at some point, and I would love to link it, and I would love to discuss this more with somebody who may know it more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But if that is the actual case, that the original Egyptian pharaohs were black and they owned slaves, and they happened to be, if the whole Moses let my people go pharaoh kind of thing happened, and it's the that would mean that even, albeit they were black, they were perpetrators of slavery. And I'm not trying to ruffle feathers. This is something I've heard. These are just kind of late night ramblings that I've thought about.
Well,
because
to back your statement, there have been proven factors of black slave owners over in Africa that have willingly sold their own people for slave trade.
I mean, absolutely. There were, African kings and tribes that were probably tricked by Europeans for a lot of reasons. Hey, this is valuable. You should take this. And we'll take some of your people as workers.
Mm-hmm.
And then your tribe or your clan will prosper because you have this valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably didn't know. Like back then, the widespread knowledge wasn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You had to be wealthy back then. Yeah, you had to be wealthy to have an education. It didn't matter necessarily what color you were. You could get education. It wasn't necessarily you had to be in America to get education. They had colleges back then too in other places.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you had to be wealthy to have access to that knowledge. That's not a that's not a lie or a myth. That's a proven thing. Obviously, there could have been a tribe that had an access to quite a substantial amount of gold,
mm-hmm.
and they didn't know that it was valuable. Just like they didn't know that their people were valuable. Not valuable as in valuable as in a monetary value, but just people have value in general.
Mm-hmm.
Those could have been people that helped their country prosper, or sired a lineage that could help that country prosper. There's so many avenues that we'll never understand. But I will never negate the fact that it was a fucked up deal, because it was a fucked up deal. Slavery in its own right is a fucked up deal.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how you slice it, no matter what race you are, it sucks. It's horrible.
I said it before. Racial homogeny and religious homogeny are just basically two different roads leading to the same path. It's basically it's you're being told what to say, what to believe, and how to act.
Well, have you ever noticed though that a lot of religions kind of seem to have the same similar stories, just they're told differently?
Well, not really, because here's the thing: you got several. You got 7.
There's a lot of coincidences, but there's, when you look at the Indian Vimanas,
mm-hmm.
Their sacred religious texts,
mm-hmm.
Even they talk about a great flood.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible talks about a great flood.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tibetan monks, they talk about a great flood.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of avenues that kind of roll into each other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of thinking that maybe at one point in human history, we all thought the same. It was, there was there's a omnipotent power, and then what separated us was our own fucking ideas.
Do you know what company respects your right to religious beliefs and freedom?
A little dicey, but article1776.com.
Sorry, I try to be.
Hey, you know what? It was a good I'll give you A for effort.
Thank you. So go to shop at article1776.com. And this month we're actually donating to the boot campaign to help out with fellow veterans. And I want to say thank you.
We've done that before.
Yep. Awesome organization. Gives directly to helping out with veterans. Scott Steele, can you give them your socials, please?
Scottsdale87 on Twitch and Twitter. And on Twitch, this will already obviously have already streamed on Twitch by the time this came out. Mm-hmm. Skull and Bones. Beautiful game. I am coming back to Twitch. Not full time, but I'm coming back to Twitch with Skull and Bones.
Do you know what?
That's going to be my game. It's a fucking badass game.
You know what game I'm really excited for?
Hellblade 2?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for that today.
Yep. And
looks good.
My name is Matt. You'll find the link to my socials down in the description below. Scott, still, do you have a dad joke or motivation of the day?
Anything the government tells you not to do is something that you should be doing.
Exactly. I want to say thank you all so much. We love y'all. Freedom the fuck on.
And fuck the ATF.
Exactly. Freedom the fuck on, you beautiful beaches.